This is a smoke and mirrors show, it seems, really, without any real progress in a number of areas. Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, the once dominant Tesla company has become a shriveled shell of its former self. Well, that's the thesis of an article we're going to look at today and some other posts. Can they bring it back? You'd also be forgiven thinking that that's not the case based on the stock price, which I'm sure some people will say in the comments that, well, it went up. Today it went up 6%, and that I think was on the back of the approval it's got to have robotaxis. I put that in quotes, robotaxis in Nevada, just testing, and investors are excited about that. More on that later because it's not all as it seems there. Is it going to go as well as it has been going in Austin, for instance? And we'll look at what's been going on there. It's on the back burner. Haven't heard much about that lately. Funny that. But let's get into this article. It's futurism, which is often highly critical of Tesla. Yes, Tesla's market share has fallen so badly that it's back to 2017 levels. When you're a car company, when you don't have new products, your share will start to decline. Now, some investors will say, well, they do have new products on the horizon, but still on the horizon, really. And I've done some videos just this week about the robot, which does not look fantastic, really unimpressive compared to some others as well. Now, the article starts off 10 years ago. It was rare to see a Tesla on the road. Yes, indeed. I remember that long ago. The Model S, despite being the world's best selling EV at the time, sold just over 50,000 units worldwide, making it rarer to see on the road than the exceedingly rare Porsche Macan. Well, 50,000 was quite a lot back then for EVs. It was a big success, really. And Tesla, Elon Musk did scale it. I give them that, but things haven't been going so well lately. And we're going to run through some of the things, that they say that aren't going well. And I do agree with some of them. But as I said, you'd be forgiven to think that things are going really well because the stock price, the market cap of the company is well over $1 trillion. And why that is, that's another question altogether. In the following years, Tesla rocketed to the top of the sales charts, cementing its Model Y as the best-selling vehicle of 2023. Now, Tesla's once dominant empire has shriveled to a shell of its former self. Though the EV company once commanded a whopping 80% of the US EV market, its market share fell to 38% in August, well below the 40% it had in October 2017, according to Reuters. And I made a separate video about this, but this goes through different areas of the company. So this is the US market share going way down back to 2017 levels. And as they said, it had 80%. And investors back then were thinking that it's going to grow 30 to 50% and keep that dominant market share. But of course, competitors have caught up. There's no doubt about that, including Chinese companies like BYD, the European car makers too. And, Elon being very political has definitely dragged down sales in Europe and elsewhere. 2017, they say, is a significant milestone for the company, marking the year Tesla began struggling to push its first mass produced vehicle out the door. The Model 3, between October and December 2017, the company only managed to ship 29,000 vehicles total. In other words, Tesla has completely destroyed its hard won lead in the EV market. Yes, we can go into reasons for that. There are multiple reasons, the competition, but I do think Elon's politics, which he's still spouting daily on X, even, if I went there right now, it's probably a tweet from not long ago that's political and divisive, and one that his left-leaning buyers back then when they were selling these probably wouldn't like, and it's a big turnoff, much as Tesla evangelicals would dispute that. One of the issues leading the market decline, though certainly not the only one, as I said, is Tesla's hard pivot away from EVs toward a controversial blend of humanoid robots, robotaxis, and even AI. Now, the issues with all of those things, which they're going to talk about, the robots not going so well. The head of Optimus Robot left. Robotaxis have had their problems. It's not level 4. It's not autonomous like Waymo is. And AI has even had problems for sure. XAI is burning through, I think, $13 billion a year run rate right now. And at the expense of mass market vehicles, experts argue. I know they're positioning themselves as a robotics AI company. Stephanie Streety, Cox Automotive's director of industry insight, told Reuters, and this was in my video from the other day, but when you're a car company, when you don't have new products, your share will start to decline as it has. And Elon is pointing away from that. Look over here, look over there. Don't look back at the vehicles we're trying to still sell and that make up most of the revenue still coming in. Energy is another bright spot that is going strong. Elon once said that will be as big as cars. That isn't hard to see if the cars don't go so well, but energy keeps growing. It certainly doesn't help that those new ventures are struggling to get off the ground. Robotaxi has been a complete disaster, they say, landing Elon Musk a hefty lawsuit from investors. Made a separate video about that massive lawsuit, and that's one of many. They're really piling up. Just hours after the company's proprietary Robotaxi app opened to the public in Austin and San Francisco earlier this week, users were surprised to find their access unceremoniously revoked. We'll have a look at that in a second, what happened there and what's happening now. In fact, I've got a question for viewers about that. Anybody who has got access to that and has had it revoked, what's going on there? But that in a second. Given Robotaxi's performance so far, that might be for the best. Riders relying on Tesla's cabs have reported experiences both terrifying and downright bizarre. I know what they are. We've got phantom braking. Kim Java had a phantom braking incident that did look like it was from sun glare. That's an ongoing problem. And other issues there, including not stopping for a railroad crossing. That was one of the videos that I did too. It wasn't on video, but they talked about that. One of the influencers talked about that. The company has also had to install a human safety monitor in each vehicle, in a way defeating the purpose of an autonomous taxi. Well, to be fair, they're not up to level 4 yet, so they have to have that safety monitor. And people will say Waymo had that when they were testing. But that's the point. It is a test. After a decade of Elon saying it's just months away, we're going to have autonomous vehicles just months away, just you wait and see. It hasn't worked out like that. It's taken a long time. The company's robotics division is also in a rut. I've done 2 videos this week showing where they had that demo that Elon thought was, I guess he thought it was good or he wouldn't have released it, but it didn't work well. It took ages to respond, using Grok, I suppose. I think it was Grok in the robot. It took like 10 seconds to respond and was really frustrating about just going to get a Coke from the fridge. Musk fanboys got their first glimpse of Tesla's Optimus 2.5 robot earlier this week, which was described as a disappointing and sluggish stopgap offered in place of a long-awaited next-gen 3.0 unit. Elon's good at doing that, saying the next version will be 10x better, or the next version. And for autonomous driving, for FSD, that's gone on for 10 years. And we could say the same about Mars and SpaceX as well, but that's another story. Tesla's slumping sales figures come after its executive board announced an unprecedented pay package for Musk worth some $1 trillion in stock options. That's predicated on his ability to grow Tesla into an $8.5 trillion company, some 8 times its current valuation. And there was a much excitement about that from Elon Jellicles saying, wow, this is great, this is fantastic. It'll get Elon motivated to get to that $8.5 trillion value. They've got dollar signs in their eyes. But to get Elon just even interested in doing that, to be motivated to work at Tesla more than he has been, it is on actual financial goals. So that is something, or the adjusted is in there. So as I said, watch for the adjusting to be out the wazoo. If the current state of the company is any indication, they say, that seems like a long shot. Still, it's a stunning commitment to the man whose political antics have done irreparable damage to the brand that was once synonymous with electric vehicles. Well, that remains to be seen whether it can be repaired. He's not doing it any favors at the moment, considering that he is appealing to I don't know who on X right now. If people are looking at his X stream, as I pointed out in another video, there's a lot of vile and racist stuff that he's still spouting on there. I mean, is he trying to get left-leaning people back to buy Tesla cars, to buy Tesla products instead of boycotting? Well, I could say that he's not doing a very good job of that. But as I said, Tesla shareholders, they're waiting for this. I'm going to go to the 5-year chart here, which is it's up 196% or 197% over 5 years. But if we get later to the end of this year, it really won't have gone very far, gone nowhere for 5 years. There's always an excuse for that. If you look back in Tesla's stock price all the way back, there were periods where it flattened out for 5 years. But we're talking about a $1 trillion company now. It's just, it had a big, massive lift from 2019 up there to over 1,000% to 2021, and it really hasn't gone anywhere since then. So it remains to be seen. And, this is not financial advice. I don't know. I saw one video from Elon Jellicles today. A group of them was saying that Tesla's about to explode. The stock price, their market cap's about to explode, but we'll have to see what happens. And this is another article about that. Tesla is losing US market share, and that's in the middle of an EV boom. Tesla has lost its aura, which analysts says had been propping up sales in the recent months. Well, an aura, I mean, it hasn't had an aura for ages. Only as fans, as most ardent fans, think that it still has an aura, or that Elon has an aura. And then we have this. I said we'll get to the Robotaxi. I mean, this is a bit perplexing. Tesla's Robotaxi plans for Nevada move forward with testing permit. I mean, that's all well and good. And that's the excitement. I mean, 6% rise of stock price based on that. When the company's worth over $1 trillion, that's so much. And there's really no signs of money making from it as yet. Now, this is Ross Gerber, who a lot of people don't like and who's been a critic of Tesla. I think he still owns Tesla stock in his fund, but he's been very critical lately, and the investors, the Elon fans, hate it. He says every day Elon Musk fiddles with software without addressing the hardware issues on Teslas. We will not achieve level 4 to 5 autonomy. A simple question would be if Elon Musk hasn't solved FSD while others have. What new programming will solve Tesla's issues after so many years of failure? Why does Tesla FSD not work as promised? And what are they going to do now that will somehow make it work? So really, they're saying that, the Robotaxi is opening up here, opening up there, Austin, San Francisco, the Bay Area, and then Nevada, but it's still got that safety driver, and it's really not a Robotaxi in the Bay Area. It's more like an Uber with a driver running FSD. And here we see Fred Lampert has added to that. At this point, it's all about extending the hope until hardware is patched, just like the Hardware 3 situation. This time, Tesla doesn't want to address it until it actually knows what hardware can support level 4 or 5. So it's not at level 4 or 5, and it needs to get there. At the same time, it can't do it without admitting that Hardware 4 won't support it either. Tesla needs to keep the dream going until it has a solution. Otherwise, it only confirms what we know to be a giant 11-figure liability without even being a competitor at level 4 yet, a competitor to Waymo and others. It's not just Tesla doing this or Waymo, there's others getting in the game too. This is death for the company. It's all a game of smoke and mirrors, and a dangerous one. So this is what they mean by a shell of its former self. This is a smoke and mirrors show, it seems, really, without any real progress in a number of areas. And this article from Teslarati says Tesla Robotaxi makes major expansion with official public app launch. So this blog is definitely a fan of Tesla promoting it. You could say it's an evangelical blog. So this was the big, launch, the big fanfare. We're launching major expansion. And then we had this, I had access to Tesla's Robotaxi, now I don't. Tesla Robotaxi opened up a wait list for all iOS users on Wednesday. This is from the 6th of September, not long ago. Some users were able to get off the wait list, but were put right back on it. It's just one example of how the service is in its early stages as it quickly moves to expand. Or it tries to expand, but 2 steps forward, 1 step back, it seems like. So I don't know the status of this. Sawyer Merritt, one of the evangelicals, one of the top ones, says many people who gained access to Tesla's Robotaxi and ride hailing services yesterday but then lost access are now getting access back. So I don't know what's going on. If you know about this, let me know. If you're one of the people that got access, I know they launched an app, so you could download the app, but that doesn't mean there's an actual service that's available. I mean, what is going on? So all these areas aren't going well. The robotics aren't going well, not as well as some other companies. We've seen Figure with a robot that's been unloading a dishwasher. We've seen some Chinese companies doing a really impressive stuff. And people say, well, Tesla can scale. I heard them on a podcast today saying that Tesla will be able to scale quickly, but they're not going to be able to scale unless it's actually working properly, unless they've got something to scale, which they don't seem to have yet. And then we've got the storage that wasn't discussed, but that seems to be going okay, going well. It's not glamorous. People don't even want to talk about that. But vehicles not going well and robots just okay. And then we've got robotaxis, which seem to be floundering apart from all of the talk about how well it's going. So, what do you think of all this? Let me know what you think of this. I'd really like to know. Do you think that it's a shell of its former self and it's going nowhere, and the stock price is just sort of levitating high based on smoke and mirrors? What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. And right now, I'm going to put a related video below me here and also a subscribe link. If you're new here, do subscribe to get more of these kinds of videos from me in the very near future. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.